So I think the clips that I just made for this book got deleted, so that was great. But basically, I think the intro got deleted, so I'm just gonna basically record it all again. I am reading It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I'm starting the vlog of it right now. This is a reread because I'm going to be reading It Starts With Us, and I want to reread this and also annotate it. I'm also annotating it in a different way though, because I wanted to switch it up with this book. I wanted the tabs to match the cover, and so I did pink tabs. The light pink is for moments that make me happy, or happy moments. Then the dark red, which I couldn't write on it, so I have to write underneath, is for moments that make me mad, and the neon pink is for moments that make me sad. For the light pink, it's for moments that make me sad, moments that I like, but it's also for good quotes. So, for example, at the top here, if the pink is at the top, that means it's a good quote. If the pink is at the side where the tabs normally are, that means it's a moment that I like, so that I know the difference between which one's a good quote and which one's a moment that I like. As you can see, I've already got put up here because there's already been some quotes I really liked. But yeah, I'm currently on chapter 3. Like I said, the clips that I've just made were deleted, so yeah, but mainly already in chapter 3, and we've already seen some similarities between Ryle and her dad, like very similarities. Like in the first page, when she's on the rooftop and Ryle is kicking the chair and like kicking the chair and stuff, and showing, first of all, very red flags of violent tendencies. When he's doing that, Lily thinks back, and she says that it reminds her of how her father backed over a plastic chair with his car and stuff like that. And I'm saying, like, already in the first chapter we're seeing little Easter eggs with connections between Ryle and her father. She's already making the connection between Ryle and her father. She doesn't realise that she's making the connection. Ryle showing his violent tendencies, and her saying that her father did the same thing when she backed over a table with his car, showing again his violent tendencies. And we're also seeing Ryle's controlling personality of trying to basically control everything she does. When she's on the rooftop and she's straddling the rooftop, she's basically on the edge of it, and he basically says, "Can you get down from there, please?" Bear in mind that the only thing that he knows at this point is her name. He basically says, "Hey, what's your name?" And then she says, "Lily." He says, "Can you get down from there, Lily?" Basically, you don't even know her, and you're telling her to do something, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm comfortable here, I'm fine." And then he said it again, but more demanding. He said, "No, please, can you get down from there?" in a more demanding way. He's like, "Oh, I've been around death for all day today, so please get down from that." It was just very demanding. So already we're seeing those controlling behaviors, and I think the reason why no one noticed when I was reading the book at the start, when I first read this book, the reason why I didn't notice those controlling behaviors, and why I don't think many people notice, is because it's masked as in caring for her, as like, oh, he's caring for her, he doesn't want her to fall off the roof, he doesn't want her to hurt himself, or he's being kind to a stranger, making sure that they don't do anything to themselves. That's so nice, because yeah. But so everybody's like, oh, it's so nice, he's trying to care for a stranger, make sure they don't fall off the roof. Yes, but it's also showing his controlling behavior of he's demanding out of someone he just met. So it's kind of like it's masked by saying, oh, he's showing controlling behavior, but in a sweet way, because he's doing it to try and protect her. But still, it's showing his controlling nature. And at this point, he's showing his controlling nature in a sweet way. But we know that throughout the story, he starts showing his controlling nature in other ways that is more controlling and less for her and more for him. But like he says, oh yeah, it's for you, but it's not. He's controlling her for himself. It's not for her own safety. At this point, it's like, oh yeah, he's trying to save her, but like throughout the book, it's just him trying to control her and tell her what to do and everything. And this is like the definition of when somebody tells you who they are, believe them, because he says at the start of this book how they're talking about like children and stuff, and then she says, oh wow, children are never good enough for the parents, and then he says, mine wouldn't be. I'm too selfish to have children, and I'm too selfish to even be in a relationship because I basically only care about my career, blah 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 blah. And it just rubbed me the wrong way, knowing that he's literally said that in the book, saying that my children would not be good enough because I'm too selfish, and I have such high aspirations that I'd want them to, that I'd have such high aspirations for myself that my children won't be good enough for me. It's just, it rubs me the wrong way hearing him say that when you know that at the end of the book he literally has a child with Lily and is in a relationship with Lily. Like that's like red flag number whatever. I swear, if I could if I could tab all the red flags in this book, they'd literally be only that color tab in this book. But yeah, I'm currently in chapter 3. I'm gonna take a break for now though, because I'm getting a bit tired. But yeah, we just got to Atlas's chapter where you see Atlas's letters for the first time and hear a bit of Atlas's backstory. And yeah, already falling in love with Atlas. When I first read this, I wasn't that invested in Atlas and Lily's relationship just because I was more focused on Ryle and Lily's relationship. But now, rereading this, knowing what happens and knowing who Atlas is and how Atlas is always there for Lily, he's literally always there for her. He's there with her dad, he's there for her with Ryle, he's literally always there for her. I just appreciate it a lot more, knowing what happens when I first read it. So yeah, but I'm going to be taking a break for a little while because I am going to be going somewhere in a bit, so hey guys, so
the girl from the well. This one is about
I'm currently on chapter 5, and I'm at the part where Ryle just came to her house, her apartment came to her apartment, and is basically like begging her to have sex with him. He's begging her to have sex with him because he can't focus on anything else and he needs to focus because of his exams. And it's just so weird how we didn't see the red flags before. Like, this man is literally on his knees begging her to have sex with him, saying stuff like
not creepy at all. And then I had absolutely
all I can think about is how crazy it feels when I'm near you, and I need you to make it stop, Lily. He stopped placing and faces me. Please make it stop. Just once. That's all it takes, I swear. And I don't know, but it just feels like a very manipulative behaviour, saying, oh please, just once, make it stop, please, I swear. Like, but yeah, the red flags just flew over my head in this first half. But yeah, currently on chapter 5. There's not really much to the plot. This is literally just the first half of the book. When I was reading it the first time, I was also like this, where I was just like, there's nothing much to the plot. Like, okay, we haven't really gotten to the meat of the book yet. But yeah, I'll update for when I find something interesting again. Hey guys, I have some more thoughts about something that happened in this book. Basically, we're at Alyssa's birthday party, I think, and this is the scene with the whole picture thing, but that's not what caught my attention. I don't know why I didn't see it this way when I first read it, but reading this now, knowing how aggressive and how freaking much anger problems that Ryle has, knowing this now, I can literally see it. Like, I can see all these little problems he has. My glasses are like really freaking dirty, so I'm just gonna, like I was saying, I didn't notice this, but even now you can see the traces of his anger and control over Lily that he's gonna have in the future. And I don't know why nobody raised it as a red flag. I don't know why this didn't scream red flag in my head. Why, when I was reading this, I remember this scene. I remember reading it once and I was a bit confused by it. but I didn't think anything of it. I was just very confused by it. And then I read it a second time. I was still very confused by it, but I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think, oh, it was aggressive. I was just confused on why he did that. It was just a very weird action for him to do this, and I was confused by it. But now I understand why he did that, because he's an aggressive person. But basically, he's talking to her. Lily brought her friend Devin to the party, and she said that she brought him as her date. Basically, Ryle confronts her about this, and I'm just going to read you an sorry if I'm reading a lot of stuff. I feel like it's easier for you to catch. I just like reading out passages of the book that I'm talking about, so you guys can like know what I'm talking about and like potentially like remember this passage. But basically, she basically tells him how, oh, she brought a date because he was the one that told her that he was the one that told her that they shouldn't see each other anymore and they should just like stay away from each other. And she said the only reason she brought a date was to make it easier on him to like move on and not, you know, like be obsessed with her, or like to just, it'd be easier for them to move on. Which, okay, understandable. That's what she said. Right after that, this happens. He smirks and then downs the rest of his wine. How thoughtful of you, Lily. He tosses his empty wine glass towards a trash can in the corner of the room. He makes the shot, but the glass shatters when it hits the bottom of the empty container. When I first read that, I don't know why that didn't raise alarms in my head, but now, imagining that scene play out in my head, it seems so aggressive. And I know that they're making this into a movie, and I can't wait to watch the movie, because that scene, I feel like that scene is going to make it so clear. But like, seeing it play out in my head now, I can see how much of a clear sign he is that he is like not a good person. Because the word thoughtful, I don't know if you can see it, but it's in italics. So I don't know what I read that as when I first read it, but right now I read it as like this. I read it like this, as him saying, "How thoughtful of you, Lily," or something, like saying it in like not a nice way, basically saying, "Oh well, how thoughtful of you, Lily," like a very passive aggressive way. That's what I imagined this time reading around, because I know what he's like. I read the book the first time. The first time I read that, I read it and I saw the italics, but I didn't think he was saying it in a passive aggressive way. I thought he was saying it in a sort of flirty way. But knowing now, I'm now reading it in a passive aggressive way, and that fits with the story so much more. He's literally saying it in a passive aggressive way, and then he literally gets the cup, downs the cup of wine that he's drinking, and then literally throws it across the room into a trash can. A glass cup of wine. Who does that? Who throws a glass cup into a bin? Just like tosses it into a bin. That is such an aggressive move, and I can't believe I just ignored it like it was normal. I didn't think about it when I first read this, but yeah, I just wanted to mention that, how like literally I'm picking apart everything now, because all these Easter eggs are like hitting me now that it, like that the first time that Ryle was abusive to her, for me when I first read it, it came out of nowhere. It was like, where the fuck did that come from? It literally shocked me. But now it's like the signs were all there. This didn't come out of nowhere. The signs were there, very, very, very subtle for some reason from reading it the first time, but they were still there. And yeah, I guess like it just puts you in the mind of what it feels like to go through it, like, because like Lily's kind of going through now where all the signs are there, she just doesn't see it yet. It's like it puts you in the mind of like what it feels like, and it just gives you such a different perspective on people going through this, and like what it's just, I really like it. But yeah, back to reading. Hi guys, so I just highlighted like this whole page because this is chapter 8, I think, and it's basically talking about Alice's backstory, basically how he became homeless and his whole situation, and how it's so sad because he's got literally no help because he's 18 years old, so there's like not much that they can do. His parents can kick him out if they want because he's above the age, and he's basically homeless and he's got no place to go, he's got no way for help, and it's just so sad. Like, just his whole situation is so sad, and I don't remember it being this sad when I first read it, but it just is. And there's this one line that just broke me, because he said he wants to join the Marines. After school, he's planning on joining the army, the Marines, and then Lily said to him, why in the heck would you want to serve a country that has allowed you to end up in this kind of situation? And he replied, saying, it's not this country's fault my mother doesn't give a shit about me. Then he reached up and turned off the lamp. Good night, Lily, he said. I'm like, that, honestly, parents, like, his parents are absolutely, like, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't know if we're gonna get like a backstory to his parents as well, because I'm pretty sure people say that when it ends with us, starts off basically where this one took off, but I don't know if it's gonna be the same thing as in, like, we're gonna get flashbacks to his past and like actually see how he became homeless, and also have the present day of him and Lily, like we do in this book. We've got flashbacks of her and Atlas, but then the present day of her and Ryle. So is that what this is going to be? Is that what Ends With Us is going to be like? Or not? Because I would be down for that, to see a little bit more of his backstory, because it's already so interesting now. But yeah, currently on chapter 8, nearly chapter 9. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to finish this book today, but I'm like making a good way through it, at least. So So I'm currently, it's been like maybe 2 days since I last updated. I haven't been reading that much in these last 2 days, but I just got to the, turning point of the story where we have the first, abuse happening towards. I obviously have highlighted the hell out of it because it's made me feel so many emotions. It's made me feel sad because I know what's coming after this. I know that it's not going to be the last time, and it's also made me feel mad because I know it's not going to be the last time. But the one thing I can't get over is how he did this and he apologized and he begged for her back and he didn't leave, knowing what she went through with her father, like knowing her past with her father, knowing what her father did to her mother, knowing what she had to witness. He hit her. At that point, he should have left. He should have not begged for her back. He should have not said these apologies, all these excuses. He knew her past. He should have known to leave. I don't know. Like, even here, she sees the correlations. When he's saying, I'm sorry, she said that all she can hear is her father saying, I'm sorry, to her mother. And, like, one quote, like, that hits me too much is, like, this one that says, 15 seconds, that's all it takes to completely change everything about a person. 15 seconds that we'll never get back. It's literally 15 seconds. But then, by the end of the chapter, when he starts apologizing, she starts making excuses for him, saying that, oh, it was his hand, it was his whole career, this and this, and, like, it's so, like, it makes me so, like, upset and mad knowing what's coming next, and that she's, like, making excuses for him and blaming herself when we all know what's coming, and we all know that it's not her fault. And I feel like the first time I read this, I was honestly surprised, shocked, because I went into this book not knowing anything about the book. The only thing I knew about the book was that it was very famous on TikTok and that everybody was saying that it's not a romance. Everybody kept saying it's not a romance. It was very famous on TikTok. I didn't know anything else about this book. So I went into this book, and naturally I knew that it was not a romance, so I knew not to really fall for the whole romance aspect. But, like, we're like a good chunk into the book, and I was like, okay, nothing bad has happened so far. And I'm like, are people sure that this is not romance. The reason why I thought everybody was saying that it was not romance is because I thought, oh, is it not romance because like it ends in a sad way where the couple breaks up or the couple's just like a bit just like a romance as in like a toxic couple like Harden like stuff from After or that type of toxic. I didn't know it was gonna be like about domestic abuse. So this honestly shocked me to my core when I read this. I literally did a double take. I had to read it twice because the scene that happens when she says, here, I'm instantly not laughing anymore. I'm on the floor, my hand pressed against the corner of my eye. In a matter of 1 second, Ryle's arm came out of nowhere and slammed against me, knocking me backward. And I was like, wait, what? What do you mean? And I had to read that like 3 or 5 times to let it sink in that he just hit her. I was like, wait, I'm confused. At first I was like, wait, did he accidentally, is the book trying to say that he accidentally did that or did he do it on purpose? But then I read it like 3 times, I was like, it sounds like he's saying they did it on purpose. And then as I continued reading, I was like, oh, he did that on purpose. And I was like, what? It just took me by such a surprise because of how he was set up at the start of the book. How like everything was set up at the start of the book. How you basically didn't see this coming. I feel like this book does a good job at putting you in Lily's shoes. As in like Lily, she met him, didn't see any of this coming, didn't see any of the red flags, thought he was grey, didn't see any of this. And I feel like as a reader you go through the exact same thing where you didn't see it coming, where you didn't see any of the red flags, where you kind of forgave it as an accident, where you kind of like made excuses for him, when you heard his backstory about his brother, and when you heard about his explanation due to his blackouts, you sort of made tiny excuses for him, say, oh okay, this and this. And I feel like basically as a reader you go through this with Lily and it feels like you are Lily at this point. It's really weird, but yeah, I'm at that point in the book now. But yeah, obviously very upsetting. So that's what I've got to say. I've not got much to say except yeah. So I'll update in a little bit and if I've got something else to say. Hi guys, so I'm back. I'm to the point of the book where we're now finding out about Ryle's past. The second incident has happened now as well with the stairs. And we're now finding out about Ryle's past. And don't get me wrong, I love Alyssa. Obviously, she's one of the greatest characters in this book. She's an amazing friend, but like in this scene, I hated her so much because she basically took Ryle's side, where she basically cornered her at the store. Alyssa saw what Ryle did to her face. I feel like Alyssa knew a little bit about his aggressiveness. Obviously she knew about his blackouts. She knew that he had blackouts and that he got into these angry bursts, so she knew that. And she saw her face. She knew that Ryle was responsible, and yet she still told Lily to hear him out so he can excuse himself for his behaviour with these blackouts. And it just rubbed me the wrong way the first time I read that, because I was like, why are you trying to say hear him out? Oh, this happened in his childhood. That's no excuse for any. That's no excuse. Like his past, like it has nothing to do with what's currently happening. It's no excuse for what he did. And I was really annoyed with her when she said that. She did make up for it a little bit later in the book when she obviously said to ultimately leave him. I feel like she is his sister though, so I feel like we got this scene at the start of the book because I don't, like she says, oh, I don't know what happened last night, but obviously she can guess. She knows that Ryle was responsible for what happened to her face in some way, shape or form, but I feel like she was trying to protect her brother. I feel like Alyssa was trying to protect and trying to excuse her brother for as long as she could, which obviously is wrong. But at the end of the day, she did stop excusing him, and she did tell Lily at the end of the day to leave him. So I'm glad that there was like some character development where she was like trying to excuse her brother, trying to stand up for her brother as much as she could. But obviously at the end of the day, like, there's so much you can do. There's only so much you can do for someone if they don't want to help themselves. And I think she realized that by the end of the book. She can't help Ryle anymore. She can't stand up for him. She can't excuse his behaviour. She can't be doing that anymore because what he's been doing is just unacceptable, and she realizes that it's too far and that at the end of the day, there's not much she can do when he just keeps doing it over and over again. So, but this scene was really annoying when I first read it, because like, really? I really liked you, Alyssa, and you're gonna do this to me? But she at least makes up for it. Yeah. Hey guys, yeah, don't mind me, just very, whatever. I haven't updated in a while. Yesterday I didn't read much because I went out, so I didn't get much reading done, but I'm currently reading. I'm like nearly finished with it. I'm to the part where Lily tells Alyssa her whole situation, and honestly, this is one of my favourite quotes of the whole book, when Alyssa says, "My brother loves you, Lily. He loves you so much. You have changed his entire life and have made him someone that I never thought he could be. As his sister, I wished more than anything that you could find a way to forgive him. But as your best friend, I have to tell you that if you take him back, I will never speak to you again." It just shows, like, at first I was like, when I first read this, I was like, mad, because I thought it was going to be like exactly like the situation in the shop, where she was like, "Oh, you need to hear him out. He's got a backstory." Because obviously, like I said previously, like, I was pissed at her for that. But then she was like, she showed me that she is a good person and she is a good friend. I was like, oh, thank God, Alyssa, you made the right choice. But anyway, yeah. Guys, I just got to the last chapter. And it's just so sad. The last chapter literally kills me every time. When she says, it stops here with me and you, it ends with us. I'm like, I finished it, you guys, and you all know the thing I'm gonna say, the quote. And it's the, you can't stop swimming now, we finally reached the shore. So I can't wait to read the second one, which will vlog on that. Also should be coming soon, by the way. But yeah, I don't think I've got, what I also love about this book, if you don't know, when you go to the back, at least in my version, but I'm pretty sure it's in every book, there's these resources for victims of domestic abuse. Like if you're reading and you're a victim of domestic abuse, or know someone who's a victim of domestic abuse, they literally put that over there, basically. Yeah, so you can like get help and contact. And then she also puts a list of resources for homeless individuals, because you know, like they do talk about homelessness like briefly, but they do, because like Alice was homeless. And then she puts, and I was like, I thought that was like really thoughtful. But yeah. So guys, I finished It Ends With Us. Here is all my tabs. You can't see them that well when I do that, but like, I don't know if you can see that, but these are all my tabs. Like I said, did it correlating to the cover, and I will be doing the same with It Starts With Us, because it also has a very beautiful cover. And then these are all the ones on the top. And yeah, I finished it, and now what I do ceremoniously is I put the date that I finished it on, which is the 11th. 2022. Then I put how many stars I give it. Then, this is what I do after I read every single book. I put the date that I started it, the date that I finished, and then the rating, and that's 5. That number, ignore it, that's literally the number of chapters I have, because for some reason I like to know how many chapters are in the book. So at the beginning of the book, I literally go to the end of the book, literally look at the chapter number, and then put it at the front, so that if I ever want to know how many chapters I am away from finishing the book, I don't have to keep, flipping through the pages to get the last chapter. I'll know that there's 35 chapters, so I'll know how many chapters I have left. Yeah, like I said, this book. I mean, it's obviously 5 stars. I wasn't gonna give it any less. I wasn't even I didn't even wonder. I knew straight away that it was gonna be 5 stars. So yeah, finished It Ends With Us, and I can't wait to start my next book. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this vlog, I really hope you enjoyed it. I really hope you had fun hearing all my thoughts about the book, and I really hope that you stick around for part 2 technically of this vlog, where I read the second book. And yeah, I can't wait. So thank you for watching this video, and see ya.